All right, so are you ready to dive into climate tech?
I am.
Because today we're looking at how this tech is not just slowing down climate change, but actually aiming to reverse it.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
We've got research and articles and all sorts of stuff pointing toward a future where tech might just be our planet's secret weapon.
I agree.
Like all those rising sea levels
Mhm.
and the crazy weather we keep hearing about.
Yeah, for sure.
Climate tech is tackling that head on.
It is.
And it's not just like some feel-good story, right?
No.
This market is booming.
Huge.
It's going to hit like, what,
I think like $1.5 trillion.
by 2030,
Yeah, by 2030.
which is insane.
It's huge.
So this is kind of your insider's guide to this wave of change that's going to impact all of us.
I think what's really interesting is that we're not just talking about replacing like dirty energy with clean energy.
Right.
It's really a complete transformation across every industry.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hitting the reset button on how we live and how we work.
And even eat. Yeah.
Let's start with something everyone's familiar with.
Okay.
Renewable energy.
Right.
Solar and wind have been around for a while,
Yeah.
but they've kind of had a major glow up recently.
They really have. The cost of solar panels has dropped something like 80% in the last 10 years.
That's wild.
It's incredible. Think about that kind of price drop.
Yeah.
It opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Suddenly, it's not just for, the early adopters.
Right.
It's a real competitor.
To fossil fuels.
Yeah, exactly.
So are we going to see solar panels like everywhere?
Yeah.
Beyond rooftops, are we talking about huge solar farms?
Oh, yeah, structures.
Across the landscape?
Yeah, you're seeing these enormous solar farms, some of them even floating on water.
Whoa.
Like in China, there's that massive Three Gorges project.
Oh, yeah.
This is a solar power plant built on a reservoir,
Wow.
generating enough energy to power millions of homes.
That's wild. And what about like offshore wind farms?
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing we hear a lot about. Absolutely. Like the Dogger Bank wind farm in the UK,
Yeah.
which is the largest one in the world,
Okay.
harnessing the power of ocean winds.
But what about when the sun goes down
Right.
or the wind dies down?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always been the issue with renewables.
You're right. Energy storage is the crucial missing piece,
Yeah.
but we're seeing incredible breakthroughs.
Like with batteries and stuff.
Yeah, with battery technology, like the
Okay.
Tesla Powerwall.
Oh, yeah.
It's already making a difference,
Yeah.
allowing people to store excess solar energy and then use it later.
So it's kind of like a giant rechargeable battery
It is.
for your house or even for the grid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
It is. And then on the horizon, we have even more efficient solid-state batteries.
Oh, wow.
So it's only going to get better.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But even if we switch to clean energy completely, we still have a problem.
Right.
All the CO2
Yeah.
we've already put in the atmosphere.
That's right. What do we do about that?
What do we do about that?
Well, that's where carbon capture technology comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about reducing emissions.
Yeah.
It's about actually pulling that CO2 out of the air.
So I've heard of planting trees to absorb CO2.
Yeah.
But is there a way to like suck it out of the air?
There is one company, Climeworks.
Okay.
They're doing exactly that in Iceland.
Really?
They've got these direct air capture plants,
Wow.
which are like giant filters, basically, pulling CO2 straight from the atmosphere.
And then what?
They take that captured CO2
Yeah?
and pump it underground where it turns into stone.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Turning CO2 into stone.
It's a process called mineralization.
Okay.
It's completely natural.
Wow.
Carbfix is the company behind it.
Okay.
And they've basically just sped up this natural process.
And that's how they lock the CO2 away.
Exactly, permanently sequester the carbon.
That's mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
But I'm guessing there are some challenges
Of course.
to scaling that up.
Yes, scaling these solutions to a global level is a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Okay.
So it's a race against time to bring those costs down.
So there's a lot of potential here,
Tons.
but also a lot of work to do.
Yeah, for sure.
What other areas are we seeing this climate tech revolution?
Well, let's talk about food.
Okay.
I mean, we all eat.
We do.
The way we produce food is a major contributor to climate change.
Yeah.
But it's also an area where we're seeing these revolutionary changes.
Okay, so beyond just composting
Right.
or choosing organic produce,
Yeah.
how is tech changing the way we grow food?
Well, picture this vertical farms.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
They're wild.
They're amazing companies like Bowery Farming,
Mm.
where crops are grown indoors in these stacked layers.
It's like turning skyscrapers into greenhouses.
Exactly.
It's so futuristic.
And they're producing fresh local produce year-round.
Regardless of the weather.
Yeah.
I love the... What about meat?
Well, there are companies like Impossible Foods. They're creating plant-based meat alternatives that are so convincing they're fooling meat lovers.
I know, I was skeptical.
Yeah.
But I tried an Impossible Burger, and it was good.
They are good.
Like, shockingly good.
It is amazing what they can do with plant-based ingredients.
Right.
And it's not just about what we eat, but also how much we waste.
Oh, right.
Food waste is a huge contributor to greenhouse gas emissions.
Hey.
Appeal Sciences.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they've developed an edible coating.
What?
Yeah, it extends the shelf life of fruits and vegetables.
So no more throwing out mushy strawberries.
Exactly.
I am so on board with that.
It's a great solution.
But there's more, right?
There's more. There's this growing movement towards regenerative agriculture.
What's that?
Which is all about restoring soil health.
Okay.
And biodiversity. It's a more holistic approach to farming.
So we've got solar farms, carbon capture, a food revolution.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we can't forget about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, it's becoming a powerful tool.
In the fight against climate change.
Right.
So are computers becoming climate superheroes?
And
what can they do that we can't?
AI is really good at analyzing massive amounts of data, identifying patterns that we might miss.
Right.
So it can forecast climate trends really accurately.
So we can better understand what the future holds.
Exactly.
Okay. But how does that help me?
Well, let's look at Google's Environmental Insights Explorer.
What's that?
It uses AI to help cities understand their emissions
Okay.
and figure out where they can make the biggest impact.
Interesting.
So this tool makes all that complex data accessible.
To anyone?
Yeah, to anyone.
So it empowers city planners, policymakers, even regular people.
Absolutely.
To contribute.
To contribute.
That's cool.
It's a great tool.
But are these just hypothetical solutions?
No.
Or has AI made a real difference already?
It already has.
Really, how?
Well, for example, AI has been really important in improving climate prediction accuracy. It's great.
By analyzing huge data sets, AI algorithms have helped us better understand our climate system, leading to better forecasts.
Wow.
And better preparedness for those extreme weather events.
It's a tangible difference.
Yeah, a real difference in the real world.
That's encouraging to hear.
It is.
But it's not just about predicting the future, is it?
Right.
We have to change how we live.
Yeah.
And how we build.
Absolutely.
So what role does tech play in building these sustainable cities?
It's playing a huge role. We're seeing this rise in green buildings.
Like what?
That are not only energy efficient, but they're made with these innovative materials.
Like what?
Like carbon neutral cement.
Carbon neutral cement.
Yeah.
So buildings can actually have a positive impact on the environment.
It's not science fiction, it's happening.
Really?
Look at the Edge in Amsterdam.
What's it?
It's considered one of the most sustainable buildings in the world.
Wow.
It's powered by renewable energy and designed to minimize its footprint.
That's amazing.
It sounds like a futuristic movie, but it's not just individual buildings, right?
Right.
What about whole cities?
That's where the concept of smart cities comes in.
Okay.
Cities like Singapore and Copenhagen.
Okay.
They're using technology to optimize everything from traffic flow to energy consumption.
So they work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. They use data and technology to improve the quality of life.
Yeah.
While also reducing their impact on the planet.
It's a cool concept.
It is a cool concept.
But what about the financial side of all this?
Right.
What role are governments and investors playing?
Well, governments are starting to take this seriously.
No.
They're enacting policies and incentives to accelerate the adoption of climate tech solutions.
Like what?
Well, the EU's Green Deal is this massive initiative to make Europe climate neutral by 2050.
Wow.
And here in the U.S., the Inflation Reduction Act includes significant investments in clean energy and climate technology.
So governments are putting their money where their mouth is, which is great news.
It is.
But what about regular people?
Right.
Like, how can we get involved?
Individual actions are essential.
They are.
There are so many ways to get involved.
Like what?
You can make conscious choices in your daily life. You can support companies that are committed to sustainability.
Right.
Invest in renewable energy for your home.
Okay.
Switch to an electric vehicle.
So making choices that benefit the planet.
Yeah.
But that also align with our own values.
Exactly.
But what about actually investing in these climate tech solutions?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do we do that?
The rise of ESG investing is proof of that.
What's ESG?
ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance.
Okay.
It's about investing in companies that are doing good for the planet.
So it's not just about making money.
Right.
It's about supporting companies that are making a positive impact.
Exactly.
I like that. What about specific investment opportunities?
Well, there are several
Okay.
green bonds, for example. They're specifically designed to fund projects with positive environmental benefits.
So you can directly support those solutions.
Yeah, and then there's venture capital,
Right.
where investors are pouring money into innovative startups.
So there are opportunities for everyone,
There are.
from individuals to big institutions,
Yeah.
to support this.
We support it.
That's exciting.
It is.
What about the big players
Oh, yeah.
in the climate tech space?
There are some big names.
Like-
Like Tesla, they've revolutionized electric vehicles,
Yeah.
proving that sustainability and profitability can go together.
Yeah.
And then there's Rivian.
What are they do?
They make electric trucks and SUVs.
Oh, cool.
And Beyond Meat,
Yeah.
leading the charge in plant-based meat.
I love Beyond Meat.
It's amazing to see these companies not only developing groundbreaking technologies,
Yeah.
but becoming major players in the market.
Yeah. It's a sign that things are shifting.
They really are. The success of these companies proves the growing momentum of this sector.
So it's no longer a niche industry.
Right.
It's a major force.
Driving innovation and economic growth.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing time to be involved in this field.
It's really inspiring
Yeah.
to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are still challenges.
Of course there are.
What are some of the roadblocks?
Well, one of the biggest is the cost.
Yeah.
Implementing these new technologies is expensive.
Makes sense.
While costs are coming down,
Uh-huh.
they're still higher than the traditional options.
Right.
So this can be a barrier.
Especially in developing countries.
Exactly.
That's a global issue.
It is.
And we need to make sure that these solutions are accessible to everyone.
We do.
What other challenges are there?
Well, there's resistance
From who?
from the traditional industries.
Like fossil fuel companies.
Yeah, they have a vested interest in keeping things the way they are.
Yeah.
And they often lobby against policies that promote clean energy.
So overcoming that kind of opposition is a big challenge.
It's a huge challenge.
And it shows how complex this issue is.
Yeah.
Like economics and politics
Uh-huh.
and the environment.
It's all connected.
So it's not just about the technology.
No,
It's about the systems and the people.
it is.
What about regulations?
Well, governments need to create policies
Yeah.
that incentivize the adoption of these technologies
Right.
and discourage unsustainable practices.
Right.
But that's a complex process,
Yeah.
often involving negotiations and compromises.
So it's a political and social challenge
It is.
as much as a technological one.
Absolutely. We need everyone on board.
Yeah.
Scientists, engineers, policymakers,
Business leaders.
everyone, even individuals making conscious choices.
Yeah.
It's a collective effort,
It is.
a shared responsibility.
Create a more sustainable future.
Yeah, for ourselves and for future generations.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here
We have.
in this first part
Yeah.
of our deep dive into climate tech.
A lot of information.
We've seen some incredible innovations. Yeah, some amazing stuff.
The challenges
Yeah.
and the opportunities.
It's a really exciting field.
And we've talked about the role of technology
Of course.
and government
An individual.
and individual
Everyone has a part to play.
in shaping a more sustainable future.
Exactly.
We'll be back soon with part 2
We will.
of this deep dive,
Looking forward to it.
where we'll go even deeper
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the world of climate tech.
Yeah, fantastic.
Until then, keep those amazing questions coming.
We love hearing from you.
And let's continue this conversation.
Absolutely. It's a conversation we all need to be having. You know, as we keep looking at all this climate tech,
Yeah.
one thing that keeps striking me is the scale of this transformation.
Right.
It's not just about like swapping out old tech for new tech.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fundamental shift in our relationship with the planet.
Totally.
Like we need to move from this mindset of taking stuff to giving back.
I agree. And that whole idea of regenerative thinking,
Yes.
of working with nature.
Instead of against it.
Right.
Seems to be driving so much of this innovation.
It really is. And it's not just happening in these high-tech labs
Yeah.
or corporate boardrooms.
Yeah.
It's happening on the ground in communities all over.
I was just reading about this project in India
Oh, yeah.
where women are using these solar-powered pumps
Wow.
to revive these old irrigation systems.
That's amazing.
And it's turning barren land into fertile farmland.
That's incredible.
It's a perfect example of how these local solutions
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. It shows the power of combining traditional knowledge with modern technology.
I love that.
And these local solutions can often scale up and inspire others.
That's what I find so hopeful.
Me
It's
too.
this idea of a global network of innovators,
Yeah.
all working toward a common goal.
It is, we're not alone in this.
Right.
There's so much collective wisdom and ingenuity out there.
Totally, like a global brain trust,
Exactly.
constantly generating new ideas and solutions.
And it's not just about the technology. It's about people. It's about communities coming together
Yeah.
to create a better future.
I love that, but I think it's important to acknowledge
Yeah,
that there are still a lot of challenges ahead.
of course.
Even with all this amazing innovation,
Yeah.
we're still facing a serious climate crisis.
Right.
So how do we stay optimistic?
You know, I think acknowledging the difficulty is key to staying optimistic.
All right.
It lets us be realistic.
Right.
There's no quick fix.
No magic bullet.
Exactly. It's about the long game.
Yeah.
Building a sustainable future step by step.
One innovation at a time.
Right.
So where do we focus our energy?
Well, I think energy is crucial.
Okay.
As long as we rely on fossil fuels,
Mm-hmm.
we're fighting an uphill battle. So
Right.
we have to accelerate the transition to renewables.
What about nuclear power?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
There are valid arguments on both sides.
Yeah.
On the one hand, it's carbon-free energy,
Okay.
but then there are the safety concerns, waste disposal proliferation.
It's complicated.
It's a technology that needs careful consideration.
And strict regulations.
Yeah,
So no easy answers there.
not really.
But it's important to have these conversations.
Yes.
Weigh the pros and cons. Look at all the options.
Yeah.
And find what works best.
For each situation.
Right, for each region,
Oh.
each country, each community.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
We have to be adaptable and flexible.
And open to different approaches.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing that's fascinating to me
Yeah.
about climate tech
Mm-hmm.
is how it brings together so many different fields.
That's one of the coolest things about it.
It's not just energy
Right.
or transportation.
Right.
It's all of it.
Yeah, it's a melting pot of ideas.
Give me an example.
Well, look at synthetic biology.
What's that?
It's using engineering principles to design biological systems.
Hold on. Engineering biological systems.
Yeah.
That sounds like sci-fi.
It might sound futuristic,
Ruh.
but it's happening.
Really?
Scientists are engineering microbes.
Microbes.
Yeah.
To do what?
To capture carbon dioxide from the air
Okay.
and turn it into useful things,
like what?
like biofuels or bioplastics.
So they're like tiny carbon capture factories?
Exactly.
That's so wild.
It is amazing.
But doesn't that raise some ethical concerns?
It does. Anytime you're tinkering with the building blocks of life,
Yeah.
you have to be careful.
Right.
Ethical considerations are crucial in synthetic biology.
So it's not just about the tech itself.
Right.
It's about the values that guide it.
Exactly.
Oh.
We have to make sure these innovations benefit humanity.
As a whole, not just a select few.
Absolutely.
It's a delicate balance.
It is.
We have this incredible potential to solve problems,
Yeah.
but we have to be careful.
We do.
You don't want to create new problems
Of course not.
while we're solving the old ones.
It's about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility.
And that's a conversation we all need to be having.
We do as a society.
Yeah.
We need to engage with these issues. Ask the tough questions
And make sure these technologies are developed responsibly.
with respect for the natural world.
I love that. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this part.
I have.
Exploring regenerative thinking,
Oh,
the power of local solutions,
yeah.
the importance of ethics.
It's been a great conversation.
It has, and there's still so much more to talk about.
There is. We'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into climate tech. I'm feeling pretty energized after all this.
Me too. It's so exciting.
It really is. And you know what's crazy?
What?
We're just at the beginning
We are.
of this whole journey.
There's so much more to come.
So many breakthroughs just waiting to happen.
It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new technological revolution.
So what are you most excited about?
Well, one area that's really interesting to me is blockchain.
Blockchain.
Yeah, using it for sustainability.
I mean, I know it's connected to crypto,
Yeah.
which isn't exactly known for being energy efficient.
You're right, but hear me out.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's all about transparency and traceability.
Okay.
Imagine being able to track a product's journey
Yeah.
from raw materials to the store shelf.
Okay.
You can make sure every step is ethical and sustainable.
So you're saying we can use it to fight deforestation
Yeah,
or illegal fishing,
exactly.
even human rights abuses.
It's all about holding businesses accountable.
Okay.
And that's not all. Blockchain can also create peer-to-peer energy trading.
What's that?
people could buy and sell renewable energy directly from each other.
So cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, and creating a more decentralized energy system.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to get it.
It's pretty cool, right?
It is. So it gives people more control and creates a more resilient grid.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I feel like we need a whole other deep dive just on blockchain.
We could do that.
Seriously.
But for now, let's talk about new materials.
Okay, like what?
Well, we've mentioned biodegradable plastics.
Right.
But there are so many bio-based materials being developed.
What, like clothes made from mushrooms?
Exactly, things like bamboo hemp mushroom fibers. They can replace those traditional petroleum-based products.
So our homes, our clothes, everything
could be made from sustainable resources.
That would be amazing.
And they're often better than the traditional materials.
Really?
Stronger, lighter, more durable.
It's like a whole circular economy.
It is.
Things are sourced, sustainably used, responsibly.
And then returned to the earth?
Without any harm.
It's a beautiful vision.
It is. What about genetic engineering?
Oh, that's a big one.
I've heard about these crops that are more resistant to drought.
Yeah.
Or disease, even crops with more nutrients.
It's all part of synthetic biology.
Which is indubitably
engineering organisms to do specific things.
Like what?
Algae that produce biofuel.
Really?
Or yeast that create protein.
So we're engineering organisms.
We are.
That's wild. Isn't that kind of risky?
There are definitely ethical considerations.
Yeah.
We have to be very careful when we're messing with the building blocks of life.
Right. It's like we have this amazing power.
Yeah.
But we have to use it responsibly.
Absolutely. It's a balancing act.
We don't want to create more problems while we're solving the current ones.
Exactly. We need to find that sweet spot between innovation and responsibility.
And that's a conversation for everyone.
It is for all of us.
This deep dive into climate tech has been amazing.
It has.
So much information.
So much inspiration.
It feels like there are so many possibilities.
What strikes me is how ingenious humans are.
Yeah.
When faced with a crisis, we rise to the challenge.
We do.
We innovate, collaborate, push the boundaries.
It shows that we can change.
We can.
It's been an honor to share all this with you, our listeners.
It has.
We hope you're feeling inspired.
We hope you learned something new.
And ready to be part of the solution.
Every action counts.
No matter how small.
Whether it's making different choices in your life,
or supporting the right companies.
Even just staying informed.
We can all make a difference.
This isn't just a problem for scientists or politicians.
It's a challenge for all of us.
We need to step up.
Innovate.
Elaborate.
And change how we think about our planet.
The future is in our hands.
Let's make it a good one.
One where everyone thrives.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
See you next time.
Keep exploring.
And stay curious.